Learn English, speak confidently with Inkwell Stories. Hello, everyone. I'm Emma, and today we have something super exciting for you. If you've ever felt lost when listening to English, you're not alone. Many learners feel this way, but don't worry, because today Alex and I will share 5 practical listening techniques that will help you understand fast English more easily.
Hi, everyone. I'm Alex, and I know how frustrating it can be when native speakers talk too fast. But don't worry, we are going to make it simple, practical, and even fun. By the end of this podcast, you'll feel more confident when listening to English in real life.
Yes! And the best part is that these techniques work for everyday conversations, podcasts, movies, or even exams. So stay with us and let's dive right in.
Okay, Emma, let's start with the first technique. The key is to focus on key words. Many learners try to understand every single word when they listen to English, but that often makes them confused and tired. Instead, it's much more effective to pick out the most important words in a sentence or conversation. These are usually nouns, verbs, or important adjectives that carry the main meaning.
Absolutely, Alex. For example, imagine someone says, "I went to the supermarket because we needed milk, eggs, and bread." You don't have to understand every word perfectly. If you focus on the key words like supermarket, milk, eggs, and bread, you already understand that the speaker went shopping for food. Everything else is extra detail, which is good, but not necessary for the main idea.
Yes, and one interesting thing is that when you focus on keywords, your brain starts predicting the rest of the information. It's like filling in the blanks. Even if you miss a word here or there, your brain guesses the meaning and you continue listening without stopping. This makes listening to fast English much easier.
That's right. Another tip is to pay attention to repeated words. If a word is repeated several times in a conversation, it is usually important. For example, in a podcast about travel, the word flight may appear multiple times. Even if you don't know all the surrounding words, you know the conversation is about flights or airports.
Exactly. And let's not forget about collocations, words that often go together. For example, people usually say make a decision, not do a decision. Recognizing common word pairs helps you understand the sentence quickly without translating everything in your head.
And the second technique is using context. This is so powerful. Even if you don't know 1 or 2 words, you can often guess their meaning from the other words in the sentence. For instance, if someone says, "I was freezing in the snow," you might not know the word freezing, but because of snow, you can guess it means very cold.
Yes, context works in many situations. Imagine you hear, "I tripped on the sidewalk and twisted my ankle." Even if you don't know twisted, the context tells you it's something bad that happened to the ankle. You understand the idea without translating word by word.
Another example is idioms. For instance, "I'm under the weather" may sound confusing at first, but if you hear someone say, "I'm under the weather, so I'm staying home," the context tells you that it means feeling sick. Context helps you understand natural English, especially fast conversations, where people use expressions and informal language.
Yes, Emma. And here's a tip. When you listen to a long sentence, try to break it into smaller parts. Focus on the key words in each part and think about their connection. For example, "I missed the bus because I woke up late and then I had to run to the station." The key words are missed, bus, woke up late, and run to the station. You already get the main idea. The speaker missed the bus and had to hurry.
That's so true. Another thing I tell my students is to practice with transcripts. First, listen to a short audio and underline the words you recognize. Then, check the transcript to see what you missed. You'll notice that even if you didn't understand every word, you often understood the main idea correctly. This builds confidence and helps you listen faster.
Absolutely. And it's not just for listening to podcasts or lectures. You can use keywords and context when watching movies, listening to songs, or even having real conversations. For instance, if someone says, "Can you pass me the salt?" and you know pass and salt, you understand the whole sentence without worrying about the other words.
Yes, and one more tip. When you focus on keywords, don't get stuck on unknown words. Many learners stop listening because of one difficult word. But if you ignore it and focus on the main idea, your understanding improves, and your listening becomes faster and more natural over time.
Right. And combining keywords and context is even more effective. When you hear a new word, you can guess the meaning using context. Then, by focusing on the important words in the sentence, you get the full picture. This makes listening to fast English less stressful and much more enjoyable.
Exactly. So to summarize part one, the first technique is focus on keywords to understand the main idea. The second technique is use context to guess unknown words. Together, they help you follow conversations, podcasts, and movies without translating everything in your head.
And remember, it takes a little practice. Try listening to a short podcast, pick out key words, and use context to understand the sentences. You'll see how your comprehension improves day by day.
Yes, Alex, and don't worry if it feels hard at first. Listening is a skill, and like any skill, it gets better with practice. Focus on the main ideas, use context, and soon you'll start understanding fast English more easily and naturally. Now, Alex, let's move on to the third technique. This one is about intonation, which is the rise and fall of your voice in English. Many learners don't notice intonation, but it's very important. It helps you understand the speaker's feelings, whether they are asking a question, making a statement, or showing excitement or surprise.
That's right, Emma. For example, if someone says, "You're going to the party?" with a rising tone at the end, you know it's a question. But if they say, "You're going to the party?" with a falling tone, it's a statement. Even if you miss some words, intonation gives you clues about meaning.
Yes, and it's not only about questions or statements. Intonation shows emotions too. If someone says, "I can't believe it," with a rising, excited tone, you feel their surprise. But if they say it with a flat, low tone, maybe they are disappointed or tired. Paying attention to these changes makes listening much richer.
Exactly. And here's a tip. When you watch movies or listen to podcasts, try to notice the patterns of intonation. For example, in English, important words are often stressed, and the tone rises or falls on them. This helps you catch the meaning even when the speech is fast.
That's true. Also, intonation can help with understanding questions with multiple meanings. For example, "You like coffee?" said with a rising tone is a simple question. But "You like coffee?" with stress on you might mean surprise. Wait, you like coffee? Context and intonation together tell you the full meaning.
Yes, and listening for intonation also helps you improve your speaking. When you copy the patterns, your English sounds more natural. You start understanding and speaking English the way native speakers do, not just reading words from a textbook.
Exactly, Alex. Now, the fourth technique is repetition. This means listening to the same audio multiple times. The first time, focus on understanding the general idea. The second time, pay attention to key words. The third time, notice intonation, pronunciation, and smaller details.
Repetition is really powerful. Think about learning a song. You don't understand all the lyrics the first time, but after listening a few times, you start catching every word. The same happens with English conversations or podcasts.
Yes. And here's another tip. Short, repeated listening sessions are better than long, tiring ones. Even 5 to 10 minutes, repeated several times, can make your listening skills improve quickly. It trains your ear to recognize words and phrases in fast speech.
That's right. And it's not only about understanding words. Repetition also helps you remember vocabulary and expressions naturally. You start recognizing words in context without memorizing them artificially.
And one more thing, don't be afraid to pause and rewind. Many learners feel embarrassed or lazy to repeat the audio, but it's a very effective technique. Each time you listen again, you notice something new, maybe a new word, pronunciation, or intonation pattern.
Absolutely. Another benefit of repetition is building listening confidence. At first, fast English may feel impossible, but after listening multiple times, suddenly it makes sense. Your brain starts recognizing patterns and comprehension becomes automatic.
Yes, Alex. And when you combine intonation and repetition, it becomes even more effective. First, listen for the main idea and key words. Then, notice intonation patterns. Finally, repeat the audio a few times to reinforce understanding. This combination is very powerful.
And don't forget, you can mix techniques across materials. You can use movies, podcasts, news, or YouTube videos. Start with simple materials and gradually try more challenging ones. The repetition and intonation focus help you progress faster.
That's a great point. Many learners think they need perfect listening skills before trying repetition or shadowing, but that's not true. Even beginners benefit from listening multiple times, focusing on tone, and noticing the rhythm of English.
Exactly. And if you make it a habit, just 10-15 minutes a day, you'll see improvements in a few weeks. You'll start understanding native speakers better, even when they speak fast or use idiomatic expressions.
So, to summarize, Part 2, Technique 3, is listening for intonation to understand meaning, emotions, and stress patterns. Technique 4 is repetition, which trains your ear, improves memory, and builds confidence. Together, they are essential for understanding fast English naturally.
Yes, and remember, the key is practice and patience. Listening skills improve gradually, but with intonation awareness and repetition, you'll notice big changes in a short time.
Now, Alex, we have reached the fifth technique, which is shadowing. This is a really exciting method because it helps you improve listening, pronunciation, and rhythm all at the same time. Basically, you repeat what the speaker says immediately after you hear it.
Yes, shadowing might feel difficult at first, but even short sentences are very effective. For example, if someone says, "I like coffee in the morning," you try to repeat it exactly after hearing it, copying the speed, stress, and intonation. This trains your brain to process English quickly and naturally.
Exactly. And the magic of shadowing is that you hear the words, understand them, and speak them at the same time. It's like practicing listening and speaking together. Many learners notice improvement in just a few minutes of shadowing per day.
Another tip is to start with slow or medium speed audio. Once you feel comfortable, you can move to faster audio. This gradually trains your ear to follow real-life English even when native speakers talk very fast.
That's true, and you don't need to understand every word to shadow effectively. Even if you miss a few words, repeating the rest with the correct rhythm and stress helps your brain recognize patterns. This is much faster than only reading or translating words.
Absolutely. And shadowing works best when you combine it with the other four techniques. First, focus on key words while listening. Then, use context to guess unknown words. Pay attention to intonation, repeat the audio a few times, and finally, shadow sentences to practice speaking naturally.
Yes, Alex. By combining all 5 techniques, you train your brain in multiple ways. You improve understanding, pronunciation, memory, and confidence. The result is a more natural and faster comprehension of English.
And another benefit of shadowing is that it helps you notice new vocabulary and expressions. When you repeat a sentence, your brain remembers it better, and you can use it later in your own conversations.
Exactly. For example, if you hear, "I'm looking forward to the weekend," shadowing helps you remember this common expression, how it is pronounced, and the intonation pattern. Later, you can use it in your daily English.
And don't forget that shadowing also improves fluency. At first, you may hesitate or pause, but with regular practice, your speech becomes smoother and your listening becomes faster.
Yes, and it's important to practice regularly. Even 10-15 minutes per day is enough. The key is consistency. Small daily practice is much more effective than long sessions once a week.
Another tip is to record yourself while shadowing. Then listen to your recording and compare it with the original audio. This way, you notice pronunciation mistakes, intonation differences, and areas for improvement.
That's a very practical idea. And over time, you'll notice that your brain automatically recognizes the rhythm, stress, and patterns of English. You'll understand faster, even if someone speaks very quickly or with a different accent.
Exactly. And don't be afraid of mistakes. Shadowing is a learning process. The more you practice, the better your listening and speaking skills will become. Remember, native speakers also make mistakes. They just keep talking.
That's true. And finally, combining all 5 techniques, keywords, context, intonation, repetition, and shadowing, creates a complete listening strategy. You'll start understanding fast English in conversations, podcasts, movies, and real-life situations much more easily.
And the best part is, these techniques don't require complicated materials. You can practice with short podcasts, YouTube videos, news clips, or any English audio. Start small and gradually challenge yourself with more complex content.
So, to summarize, Part 3, shadowing trains, listening and speaking simultaneously, improves rhythm, pronunciation, vocabulary, and fluency. When combined with the first 4 techniques, it creates a powerful learning method.
Exactly. And remember, it takes time, patience, and consistency. But if you practice daily, even just 10 minutes, you'll notice big improvements in a few weeks. Your brain adapts to fast English and you'll feel more confident.
Yes, and one last tip, enjoy the process. Learning English should be fun, not stressful. Listen to content you like, repeat what interests you, and use shadowing as a game. You'll learn faster without even realizing it.
Absolutely. And before we finish, remember that we've prepared a PDF with the full transcript, vocabulary list, and key phrases from today's episode. You can download it and use it to practice more efficiently.
So don't forget to subscribe to our channel, download the PDF, and start using these 5 techniques today. Fast English will become easier and your confidence will grow.
Thanks for listening, everyone. Keep practicing, stay motivated, and we'll see you in the next episode. Happy learning!